So up to this point, these demos that we just went through is we've both been working on the master branch. You're working on your own local master branch, and I'm working on my own local master branch, and we're all merging everything into the master branch, right? Typically, the master branch is, like the name suggests, is the source of truth, is what actually is has been accepted by the team, and it's what is going to eventually be deployed onto QA and then staging and production and whatnot in higher environments. So it should be a curated branch, right? Making sure that what's in there is its quality has been QA'd, everybody has agreed on that. So typically, not just anybody should be able to merge into the master branch, right? Typically, we give certain privileges to certain folks on the team, the privilege of being able to merge into the master branch, right? Typically, either a project leader or team lead or somebody who is given this privilege, or more commonly, it's by convention, right? This week you are the responsible one, and next week you'll be the responsible one, right? So there's every team has out there in industry has different conventions. I believe the convention here in this course will be that it'll rotate, right? And who's going to have that responsibility. So every sprint, I think we're going to denote one person be responsible for the master branch. Okay, as we start working on the projects. So instead, the way it would work is that if we should not work on the master branch. Instead, what we should do is, when you're working on a bug fix or you're working on a particular new feature, what you do is that you create your own feature branch, a separate branch, do all the work, right? And once you've tested it and you've unit tested it and you're happy with it, right? You push that feature branch to the repository, and it would be listed here. It would be listed here as one of many branches, not just the master branch, but some feature branch. Yes, right. And then you ask someone else on the team, right? To review your code, right? To look at it. What you do is you create a request for these changes to be merged and accepted into the master branch. Yes, what is typically referred to as a pull request, meaning you're asking everybody else, hey, I've made this branch. I need you guys to pull this request, right, and accept it and merge it into the master branch as the final version. Yes? Okay, so typically we never do directly to the master branch. We go through this process where some other folk can review it. Somebody can comment on it. There is a process of where somebody says, yes, I'm good. I'll accept this. I'll make myself responsible for this code. I'm okay with debugging this code and maintaining it for the next couple of years. And so let's illustrate doing this, right? All right. So here we have. Is this the left branch? Okay. So say I have the left folk. Where am I? Is this the left? Okay. Yeah. Wants to make a change, right? So what they typically do is that they would create a new branch. So in this case, right now, we just have one single branch, the master branch. Right? They're going to work in a separate branch, so they would create a new branch. So they would say maybe git branch feature 1, 2, 3. Now, the naming convention with these branches is typically it would follow. It would be somewhat related to the issue or the ticket or some task that has been assigned to you, right? Usually either an issue on GitHub or an issue on Jira, right? That has been assigned to you, and the ticket has a number, right? Say it might have the name. It'll have maybe feature 1, 2, 3. Okay. And so this name allows us to keep track of all the work that has been done for that particular ticket, right? So we created a new branch So git branch just lists the branch, whereas git branch and the name of a branch creates a new branch, right? So if we get a hold of the branches, it says that there's this new feature branch called feature 123. But notice that the asterisk is on the master. So we haven't actually, we're not still working on that feature branch, right? We need to change to that new feature branch. And we do that is we say git checkout feature 123. Right? Notice it says it's switched to branch feature 123, and we can do a git branch again. And we notice that now it's highlighted, and that's the branch we're working on. All right, so we're here. We're going to start making some changes. So say I make a change, and I am the left folk. So I would say here I'm going to change this hello to, I'm going to change it to, okay? No, you can't help me. Go away. Oh. And I can see my changes, my local changes, my git status that it has been modified. Git diff. And it says that in this branch you have modified hello. And it says you've changed it from hello to left to. Everybody okay? Right. Notice that I've made the local changes, and I still have my files the same as. Right. Now, and I'm still in that feature branch. I cannot change away from this branch, right? Unless I make sure my changes have been committed. Notice that if I try to go to another branch, for instance, I want to go to the master branch. Wait, did I not make my changes? Wait, where am I? Git branch. Why did it let me do that? Git feature branch. Wait. Git checkout feature branch. Okay, and my local changes is left to. Oh, okay, right. No, until I not commit, right, it won't let me stop going there. All right. Now let's continue with this example. Let's commit my changes. Let's see, I am in the feature branch, right? Git branch, and let's push this so some other folks can look at it. So I'm going to say git commit, and I'll say that I changed. Was it hello to left to, and I'm going to push this now. When I push it, it's going to say, remotely, on the remote GitHub, there is no feature branch, right? Would you like me to create it? Would you like me to create it? Notice that it's not there now, right? Notice that here it's, we only have the master branch. And so we can tell it to, yes, go ahead, please. Create the new branch and push to that new branch. So there it is. So it's pushing it to the new branch. It tells us, it notifies us that indeed it has created the new feature branch. And if we go here and we refresh, we'll notice that now if I click, notice that the master branch is not reporting that any change has made, right? It still remembers that from that last merge, from that last conflict, right? It doesn't know that any change has occurred. And if we click on the master, notice that my new feature 123 branch is now available. Yes? If I change to that branch, it only has the history of the last time that it grabbed something from the master branch, and then the changes from there is that I have added my changes, the hello to left to. Make sense? Right? All right. So now that I have the feature branch, I can ask other team members to review my changes. Right, and if I go to the notice that if I go to the home directory, the home URL for the branch for the GitHub, notice that it has a little message here notifying that, hey, you just pushed this. Right? Would you like to notify everybody else? Maybe somebody wants to review this, and it creates this little UI that it's not normally there. It's only there when you push a brand new branch or when you push anything new and it's offering to create a new pull request. So we say, sure, I want to create a new pull request, and it creates it for me, saying that I am going to request the rest of the team that I would like to merge my changes that are in feature 1, 2, 3. I would like it to merge it into my master branch. I've tested it. I've run all my unit tests. I'm happy with it, and I think it's really good quality code, and I want to create this branch. It also notifies me that your changes are not currently conflicting with anything in master, right? If it would notify me and let me know that sorry, it cannot be merged directly. You need to resolve some conflicts. And here's my commit message. I can add additional messages. I can add other folks to take a look at this, right? Anybody else in the team, right? I would add other reviewers, and I would assign it to someone who would be the ultimate responsible for merging this into master. Right? So we're getting into a code review process, right? Where we're notifying the rest of the team, hey, what do you think about this, right? And again, our source doesn't belong to us, right? The source belongs to the team, right? The source belongs to the organization, right? And we should be open-minded to receive, a positive criticism and feedback, right? And open to make any changes that other folks might suggest, right? And it's a process that we are happy to participate. I don't believe we are going to be using the reviewers and the assignees, right? I think there's always going to be just one person responsible for looking at everything, any source code, and we're going to be rotating that for every sprint, okay? But different teams have different processes, and you have to adhere to whatever process that particular team imposes. So I believe that's what the process is going to be. We're going to rotate it, the responsibilities. So anyway, so here's the developer, and you can see exactly what the changes are. If I modify several files, they would be listed here. All the files that would be part of this PR, okay, oftentimes referred to just PR instead of just pull request. And we're going to say create a pull request. We create the pull request, and everybody else gets notified, right? Anybody who has been mentioned here as a reviewer will get notified saying, hey, you're a reviewer on this PR, and then you would like to merge. Some teams, what they do is they have a team meeting every week, maybe at the end of the week or at the beginning of the week, and they go through each one of the pull requests, right? And together, go through each one and changes, and other folks can comment on it, and then together they decide, okay, let's commit this, and they all commit it and merge it in. So again, each team might have a different cadence and different ways of doing it. So anyway, so the person who's reviewing this looks at it, looks at the changes, and says, very good, I agree with it, I like your changes. And at some point, they can either write a comment, right, saying, well, why didn't you do this instead of that, right? And then a message gets notified to the other folks on the team, and there could be a back and forth where the review happens. And at some point, somebody says, yes, this change is good, and we merge it. We merge it into master. This is going to go into master. Currently, notice that, let me cancel that for a second. Notice that if we go back to master, if I go back into the code and I go into master, notice that the commit does not have that change, right? Having changed hello to left to, it doesn't have that change. If I go into the pull request, right, and these are all the pull requests, and I go into the pull request, if I merge it, I confirm the merge, now master has that change. Okay? It finally made it into master. Right? So you had the main branch, it branched off into your feature branch, you make changes, and then it was merged into master. Make sense? Right? And typically, once we we are happy with that change, there's no need for that feature branch anymore. Right? We can just delete it. I believe the process that we're going to follow is that when we merge things into master, there's going to be a process that gets kicked off that will automatically redeploy everything into your environment, right? And will automatically delete the branch, and all the cleanup will happen automatically, all right? But here we're doing it manually for now, right? So the good practice is to just delete the branch. We don't need it anymore, right? It has been already merged into master. All right, everybody okay? I noticed that my feature branch is no longer there. All right. Okay, so that was the left-hand side, having created the feature branch, having added this left 2. Now, what about the right-hand side? So right-hand side is way behind, right? They have this hello 2. So typically what would happen is that, again, early in the morning or having gotten a message from the team, they would pull. They're still in. We are still in the master branch, and they just pull the changes. They just git pull, right? And they bring down the changes to hello, right? And if they go back to their IDE, they'll see that left 2 has been modified. Everybody okay? Right, everybody good? All right. So that's great. That's if you just have one branch going off on the left-hand side. What about if other folks, everybody's working on their own feature branch, right? And it's taking them a week to complete, right? Certainly throughout the week, a lot of changes are going to happen, right? Other team folks are gonna merge their changes before I'm done, and other folks are going to start their own work, and they're going to merge back into master again. And I'm way behind, right? I have my feature branch. I'm chugging along throughout the week, and I'm kind of behind, right? Everybody has been pushing all this code that I don't have in my branch, right? Because if I pull, it'll go into the master branch, but it won't go into mine, right? Because I'm kind of like, I went off of my own thing. Right? So I have to make sure that even if I work in my own feature branches, if the master branch is changing over time, I have to make sure that I merge those changes back into my feature branch to make sure that I'm not too far off. I'm not way too far off from what has been happening, right, elsewhere. Make sense? Right. I want to be as close as possible to what the master truth branch is. So let's do that. Let's have the right-hand side make a couple of changes. So we're going to create a branch on the right-hand side. We're going to say git. Before we did git branch and then the name of the branch. Yes, you can and then in a second step we changed to that branch by checking it out. Correct? You can condense those 2 steps into one single step. You can just say git checkout -b. -b will we'll do both 2 things. We'll first create the branch and then change to that branch. So we'll do a git checkout -b, and this will be feature 234. Okay. So the first one was feature 123. This is feature 234, and we are now in the feature 234 branch. Everybody okay? All right. All right. So I go on and start making my changes, and I call this write 9, and I've been working. Meanwhile, on the left-hand side, I'm also making changes, right? I'm going to create my own branch. So git checkout -b feature 345. Obviously, these would be unique ticket numbers, and we create that. And I'm making my own changes. I changed this to left 3. Yes? Right? And let me make sure that we're in the right branch. All right, so I'm in feature 345, and I have my changes left 3. I do not have right 9. I don't have that. Right? And you don't have left 3. Right? So we're completely out of sync. Right? You've changed some codes way down below, and you've changed some codes way down at the top. Okay? All right, so I finish earlier, right, in the week, and I push my changes. The right-hand side is going to push their changes. So git status and git diff. I changed it to write 9, and I'm done with my feature. I'm going to push it, so I'm going to say git commit changed hello 9 to write 9, and we're going to push it. Again, it's going to complain. There is no feature 234 branch in the remote repository, so we're going to create it and push it. Okay, it gets pushed. I go back to my repository, and notice it's notifying me that you have just pushed this new branch. Would you like to merge it into master? Would you like to create a pull request? And says, sure, that is the process. I create the pull request. It's checking if it can be merged. That's a while. Okay, able to merge. And I make my comment. I can make my my very well documented explanation on. Typically, we would put things here, maybe a link to the Jira ticket, right? So that they could be connected, right? I can also in my Jira ticket, I'll probably paste the pull request on the Jira ticket, so I can navigate back and forth from the pull request to the Jira ticket, and from the Jira ticket back to the pull request. Yes, right. I might also describe here what I actually did. Right. The line of code here should record the theme of what is it that I did. What was the purpose of this, right? But down below, I can go a little bit more verbose, right, and say, well, I changed this variable name. I did this, that, and the other. So anyway, I create the pull request. The assignee or the one who's responsible will get a notification. They'll review it. They'll comment on it. You'll go through a code review process. Very adult, very high level, very productive code review. And once everybody agrees, we merge it into master. We merge it into master, and we delete it. Yes. Okay. Now the right hand side, folk, right, is all done. Right. They make their change, and they're still in branch. They can go back to master. They can go back to master. Git check out master, and they're done. They're ready to start working on the next feature. All right. Meanwhile, the left hand side, it's kind of behind. Right. They've made their changes, but they get notified that something has changed. Something has changed. So what they need to do is to make sure that, as other developers are pushing to the master branch, pushing throughout the week, that their code doesn't get too far off from the, single master branch. Yes. So what they need to do is, once in a while, or every morning, or every time they get a notification that something has been merged, they can go back to the master branch and make sure that the master branch at least. Oops, sorry, did I not commit? Git diff. Okay, I have a couple of changes. I'm going to commit those changes. It won't let me leave my branch because if I go there, it's going to overwrite my changes, right? So I'm going to commit them. I'm going to commit. And this one says changed hello 3 to left 3. Right? Now I can go back to my master. Right? And I can pull down all the changes that other developers have been pushing. Right? I can do a git pull. It's going to pull down the changes that these other folks have been working on. And now I need to make sure that my feature branch, right, has the very latest, right? So I'm going to go back to my my branch, my feature branch, which is called feature 345, right? And I can now merge in locally onto my machine, right, in my local repository, the changes that everybody else has been pushing. Make sure that I have them locally. locally, notice that I do not have write 9. I don't have that. It's a master though. If I go git checkout master, notice that my file does show write 9. See that? Right? So the file, the changes have come in from the right-hand side, but it doesn't have my changes. My changes are back in my feature branch. Yes? So now I have to merge both. Right? So I need to merge them. So let's go back to my feature branch, and now I can say git merge master. So what this does is that it's going to merge the master branch onto the current branch that I'm in. I'm currently in my feature branch. This is going to take the changes in master and going to put them inside of my feature branch. And I'm going to say, go ahead, merge it. There's no conflicts, right? If it would have been any conflicts, it would have stopped me and says these files are in conflict, right? And they'll be, appropriately marked, and you'll need to make a decision, right, on whether, your changes or their changes. So we're okay here. We're merging. We're going to say write and quit, right? And if I go now into my IDE, notice that now my changes left 3 made it in, including the write 9 from the other developers. Right? So this is a merged file that is now in sync with all the changes that everybody else has been pushing. Make sense? Right? We can ask the status, how we're doing, and there's nothing to commit, and we can just push those changes. We can push those changes now, right? And go back to our GitHub and ask that our changes also be included in the master branch, so that everybody else now has to merge my changes into their own feature branches. Make sense? So it's all this back and forth, feature branch, master into your feature brand, then feature brand back into master into feature. It's just, and ideally, you just have this one master branch and one level of branching. Okay, so we compare. We pull. It's verifying that nobody else has been pushing around things in there, that we are behind in any way. We create the feature branch, the pull request. And notice there are 2 changes. It's my change of changing hello 3 and left 3, plus any merges that I had added to my feature branch. This gets notified to the responsible for this branch. They review it, they accept it, they merge it, right? And then remove the delete the branch since we don't need it anymore. And now the left-hand side here is free to go back to their master branch to get started on the new assignment, right? But wait, the right-hand side is now behind, right? Because they have been working in their master branch, bench branch, right? They're behind the master branch, right? Because a new feature branch has been merged, and now we're behind. So again, everybody gets notified, and they pull down the latest in the master branch. And now, ideally, we would have the the left 3 that was merged in, and there it is, left 3. Everybody okay? Now everybody's in sync. Yes?
The situation we just had where you have to do the local merge, for this class, is that considered better practice than rebasing?
Then what? I'm sorry?
Rebasing?
Oh, okay, you can do rebasing, sure.
That's fine also.
Yeah, that's fine. There's a couple of changing from different feature branches that we didn't talk about. Typically, before the merging into master like we did, oftentimes the review process includes that not just looking at the code, right? Not just looking at the code, but actually bring it down into my local repository, right? Just bring it down your feature branch, right? And and just testing it locally, see that indeed it passes the tests and it's behaving as expected. So, all right. So let's see. All right, let me see if I've covered everything. Let's go back to the slides.